Yesterday was Wednesday, and of course, I went to Roaring Spring. And I want to debrief myself in two parts, I think. I think I can make it two. Typically, on a trip to Roaring Spring from here, the first part of it is the Mennonite part. Once I get to Roaring Spring, I'm, among the English, as they would call us, who don't speak Pennsylvania Dutch. And in the Mennonite part, I stop and get raw milk at a farm. They're horse and buggy Mennonites. They do use farm equipment, but but their preferred way to travel just locally is horse and buggy. Anyway, uh, usually there's no one there. You just take the milk, you leave your money. It's all on trust, and but sometimes there's somebody there. And this time there was a car parked there, and there were some children out, and a Mennonite woman. You can tell by the bonnet usually. Well, and the way they dress and all. So anyway, I got my milk, and instead of just getting into the car driving off, I walked over a little bit, and there stood. I still don't know exactly what was going on, but there was an English woman there with her children, or at least one child, maybe two, and I think they were visiting somehow, because the sight that's burned into my mind, it was so cute in a way, is that I think there were two Mennonite children. I think they were both girls. I think one was about 6 and one was about 4, of course in their dresses and bonnets. Uh, and the older one was standing by a pony that was just, her head came to about the top of the back of the pony. But the pony was in harness. It was harnessed up, and it was ready to be hitched to a little tiny sulky. And it was all like child size. And she was handling the pony by herself, and, and, and seemed pretty happy. I think what was going on was that maybe those children were going to give the English woman's children, remember, English means us, uh, English woman's children a ride around in the sulky. Maybe that's what was going on. But boy, I thought, isn't that something to see? Because the pony, well behaved, all in harness, miniature, and the little Amish girl. It was great. And I talked to the Amish woman a little bit. Her English was perfect. Uh, Usually, at least among the Amish, uh, the women don't usually speak English as well as the men because they're always pretty much at home. Uh, the men speak fine. And actually, all Amish and Mennonites speak English fine. Well, anyway, I continued on, and I got the news from her that this stone building that had been painted blue once, what a thing to do to a stone building. I had noticed it was being fixed up. Somebody was going to do something with it, real close to the road. And she had told me that actually that was the son of Mervyn, my Dutch. That's how you say Pennsylvania Dutch in Pennsylvania Dutch. My Dutch teacher, uh, and he was going to fix that up. And I determined I was going to stop anyway because at Baker Summit, which is getting closer to Roaring Spring, I noticed for years that there was a sawmill back in behind a few of the houses. And I found out that that was one of Mervyn's sons. And I thought, well, I'll just go back in there and talk to him, find out if I can buy lumber there if I want to. No. Well, I went back in there and he wasn't there. No one was there. So I had a chance to look. It's a bandsaw mill, new equipment, nice equipment. I looked around a little bit and then I continued on my way. Well, later on, I found out from Mervyn that actually his son, Serenus, is his son's name, is in a hospital. He's got some kind of a cough but anyway, he's pretty sick. But I found that out. All right, now, the thing about this was, we settled down. I was in no hurry to get to the Pennsylvania Dutch, the Dutch, because I love finding out about this stuff. And so we talked for quite a while. And there was another woman there, not and Laura, his wife. Now I'm talking about a couple that are probably both around 80 or 82. He's 82. She's still not well, but she's out of the hospital, and she was standing up, and she's looking way better than she was. But there was another woman there, and Mervyn said that was his daughter-in-law. That was one of his daughters-in-law. And I met her. I think her name was Mary Bell. Maybe I didn't. I eventually asked her name. But she was sitting there knitting, and I think what she was doing was she was keeping an eye on Laura, the older woman, and just trying to help out, doing some wash and stuff. But when we got started in the lesson, she was sitting there and she was listening, and she was amused. I'm going to guess that she's, I don't know, maybe 50, maybe, I don't know. She was amused and listening all the time. And I handed, and while I was there, their groceries arrived. His son or son-in-law arrived with their groceries, and so I didn't have all that much time. I limit myself to an hour to learn Dutch, but there was a breakthrough. It happened at a certain point. I settled down and I had Mervyn read the way I write A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I wrote it out in our talk writing, and I said, "Here, Mervyn, while we're going out and helping with the groceries, see if you can read that." And and he was looking at it, and I came back in and he couldn't. He started, and I said, "Well, let me get you started. A, B, C, D," and then he'd go E, F, G. He could read it. And he could read the whole thing, and I said, "Well, that's the way I spell. That's why it's taken me a while to write this stuff down that I hear, because that's the way I spell. I spell what I hear." And we got going, and I'd made up my mind that what I wanted to do was start a story, not just a conversation like greeting, hello, back and forth like that, but build a little bit of a story about two other people. A young woman and a young man that were maybe courting or something like that. And we started, and I'm going to save telling about what a breakthrough it was to when I actually teach, the next time I teach, which will probably be today, Pennsylvania Dutch. But the breakthrough was it suddenly got easy, and it got fun. And I was beginning to understand whole sentences. It was getting to be as fast as I could write, and go to my Pennsylvania Dutch lessons, and I'll give you the link, and there I'll tell you the story. Bye for now.